Here we go.
The pains pains of lack of law and
The
order.
pains of lack of law and order, or the pain. Yeah. Okay, so there is pain in lack of law and order, pain in disorder, pain in chaotic situation. When there is lack of law and order, pain is inevitable. Pain reigns and rules where there is lack of order. Pain is persistent where there is lack of order. Now, everybody hates pain, but pain is a consequence and a result of lack of order. So, there is pain in order as well. There is also pain in order, but the pain of disorder is much more greater than the pain of order. For example, there is pain in you having to stop by the red light all the time. But the pain of being knocked down by the car, believe me, is greater than the pain of just waiting a few minutes by the red light. Sure. There is pain in observing speed limit because you want to go faster. Yeah, a degree of pain. But believe me, if you remove that pain or that limit and you crash, the pain of death or the pain of accident is much more greater. So when I talk about the pain in lack of law and order, it's always greater. So whenever there is lack of law and order, the pain there is always excruciating, is always perpetual, is always more damaging than whatsoever pain it will cost you to put order in place. So the pain of order is nothing. It's almost like not having any pain compared to the pain of the absence of order. Therefore, the reason for pain, the primary reason for pain in anything, in any area of life, therefore, is the absence of order. When I suffer financially, it's because order has been distorted. When I suffer health-wise, it's because order has been distorted. When I suffer socially, it's because order has been distorted. When I suffer pain in any area of life, order has been distorted one way or the other, on one place or the other. Any pain is as a result of disorder. So let's say, for example, you discover that you don't have a child or you can't have a child. Instead of going to be looking for deliverance and going from church to church, look for something that is not in order. Something is gone out of order. Something in your system is not according to order. That is why that pain is there. When there is strife and disagreement in your family, it's because some order has been violated. Pain is always a sign of disorder. Now you tell me, is Nigeria a land of pain or not? Right now. Is that country a land of pain or not? Or a land of bliss? Is Africa a continent of pain or a continent of pleasure? Pain Yeah, you know the answer. Pain. Pain. So according to what I'm teaching you now, if the continent and the nation is a land of pain, what would therefore be a major core reason for that pain? Lack of order. Now, somebody will say, it's ignorance. Yes. But ignorance of what? Ignorance of what is out of order. Ignorance comes second. It is when something is out of order that you need to know or you don't know about it. When you know about it, then you can fix it. But why do you need to fix something that is not out of order? Pain, therefore, is a consequence and a result of lack of order. That goes a long way to say that if we could put order in most of our life engagement, lifestyle, mode of life, life in every area of life, if we could secure and maintain order, we would have minimized the amount of pain in our society to the bare minimum. So you cannot underestimate order. There is no way for you to assess the importance of order. Who knows that that people in Nigeria always complain about lack of electricity? Who is aware of that? So what is that? Lack of order. Who knows that everybody in Nigeria is always complaining about not enough money? That is also a result of lack of order in finances. But then when you tell them to read, they don't like to read. That is also lack of order. So show me any pain anywhere, and I will show you where order has been violated. So the topic of order that we have been discussing with you all this week, if you really take your time and do solitude and study again and read again and listen again and go over and over again and think widely about these things, this topic alone can make you one of the most dangerous people on earth in terms of one of the most knowledgeable person on earth, one of the wisest people on earth. Let's take medicine. You all were here a few days ago when I think it was Dr. Success said that if you will put order in people's health, that up to 80% of the sicknesses and diseases will be eliminated. And even somebody else, I think it was Dr. Anu, that says even any sickness whatsoever is because order has been disrupted. It's lack of order, is disorder in the functioning of the human body. That is the explanation of sickness. And I think Denise also confirmed the same thing, that anytime there is sickness, disease, something has gone out of order. That's why you are sick. Order. Engineering is about order. Mathematics is about order. Medicine is about order. Social science is about order. Politics is about order. Biology is about order. Chemistry is about order. So life is about order. Now you can understand why even Genesis chapter 1 is about order. And God could not create without the principle of order. God himself couldn't. So when you read in the Bible and the Bible says God is a God of order, take it serious. It's not as simple as that. But today, I want to rather talk about the pain of lack of order, or the pains of lack of order. Because the reason why most people don't put order in place and they don't value order and they don't go for order is because it is painstaking. It's a painstaking process to put order in place. Yes, but the difference is that order is painful, but it's only 2 grams of pain, while the pain of disorder is 2 tons of pain. Compare the two and choose which one you go for. It's always painful to make order, but it's even thousands of times more painful to endure lack of order. So, welcome to the topic for tonight, the pains of absence of order or lack of order, or the pains of disorder. Here we go, gentlemen. I know. Why are you hissing? As if you are getting some deep revelation. Let's hear him out.
Well,
Let's hear your emotions. Put on the light for him so that we will see his face. The man is loaded sometimes because those his revelations, they are helpful.
you know, your introduction, while you were talking, it was as though I was receiving. I don't know how to express it, but that was why I made that deep breath.
Medical infusion.
Yeah. So like you were
Pharmaceutical infusion in your body.
You were putting something, and it was as though something was coming, and I just had to take that deep breath. Because the gravity of law and order the more you talk about it, the more clear and the more vivid it is in my mind, the way I'm seeing it. And maybe because I had a personal experience as to what's the pain of law and order,
Of lack
of lack of law and order can do. So, and you made that statement, you said it before you even thought, when you were with my mom. And you were like, this is not witches or anybody that killed him, but it is Nigeria, the lack of order. So, people don't understand how important this is actually. Because
Tell them about your experience.
so what happened was, I think it was 2016. On a Sunday morning, everyone was happy to go to church. My dad, my mom, everyone went to church. So they got to church, and my dad is a pastor, and he noticed that some people were not in church. So it was like, okay, everyone, let's just go out and reach out, and let's get to meet our members that are not around. So he was in the church, and then everybody went out
for outreach.
So the same with my brother, my younger brother. So I think like 1 hour into the outreach, someone ran to my dad. Daddy. Ife. That's my younger brother's name. So my dad was like, why are you calling his name like that? What's happening? They were shouting blood. So my dad left the church and he ran to the site. And then he said, he got to the site and he saw his son in cold blood, just filled with blood. What happened? Now, this was not an express road. This was maybe just a 2-lane road, just one small road in our area, that a young guy who was maybe less than 20 was driving recklessly. And then my brother was about to cross the road, and bam, he got hit by the car. And as he got hit by the car, immediately he had skull fractures, and it affected some of his spines. So what happened? They rushed him to the hospital. So as a matter of fact, he became unconscious right after the hit. Long story short, I lost my brother, or we lost him. And one would think that that was probably some, like, the religious belief. That was like maybe an attack, or someone who is doing, or someone was attacking from maybe the father's side or mother's side. But then I remember my mom came to Ukraine, and we visited Pastor Sunday, and then we were talking about it, and he made a statement, and he said it is the system in Nigeria, the lack of
It
order.
is in response to your mom's statement.
Yes.
That there were prophets saying that other people were going to die and you have only one left,
Yeah.
and be careful because it should not talk, it should watch out because enemies have already taken one. And that was the second
That
death.
was my second brother that was gone.
That was gone.
Yeah.
A year before that,
Now, like
a few years
probably
before
a few years
that,
before that, it was-
another son, another brother has been lost. And now the second one. So look at the mother. Everybody say, okay, we have some prophets, Woli, who have said this and said that. Oh, so I was saying, hey, forget about prophet right now. Forget about demons and principalities. What demon? This is not demon. That demon, that car, demon doesn't have anything to do with it. It is signage that has something to do with it. Speed limit that has something to do with it.
lack of
It is
revelation.
order that has something to do with it. Well, it's a very difficult truth to tell a Nigerian mother, especially if they are religious. But she was kind enough to listen. Normally, if not because she was kind enough to listen, I would not have said it, even though I know better. But I was able to share a little bit with her. But I couldn't go into the details. But now you are seeing, because I didn't go into all
Yeah,
the...
yeah. So, the pain of lack of order and law is really excruciating. And if Nigeria would understand just this topic, and that was the reason why I took a deep breath, and that's the consequence of several things that were going through my mind, and I was like, if people understand what it actually means, the real pains, then they would clamor for law and order in everything they do. So that was the reason for my breath.
Have you heard of stories of pregnant women dying? People being brought to the hospital and not being catered for. Everybody is thinking it's because of poverty. I think you know better now.
Definitely.
Huh? So how will you assess those kind of situations happening in Nigeria all every day?
You know,
Nigeria hospitals.
just my elder brother that also died. It was because of lack of order in the hospital, because he had appendicitis, and then
I mean, people don't die of appendicitis anymore.
Come on, that's like the easiest operation to do, appendectomy. Even an intern can perform that. That's just something small. There shouldn't even be infection.
You don't even need a surgeon for that, right? Even a regular general doctor can do that. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lack of order. I remember my dad told me the story that it was, man, it's just crazy. I don't even think about it because...
So everything is connected to order. The pain of lack of order. I don't know if people are watching right now or people are not watching, but if anybody is watching right now, I will advise everybody to go and share this message. I will advise people to go share this message. Because this is going to bring a lot of understanding and liberty to a lot of people. Thank you. The whole country is suffering just for this simple understanding. I don't even get our government to talk about all that, things like that. They are only talking about some economic statistics figure, when these are the fundamentals of the society.
Lack of law and order leads to captivity and dependency in life and society.
The society is held captive, hostage. the society that lacks order is held in captivity, in hostage. And they are in perpetual dependency. Let's have a look at the first one, the first video here. Can you put on the volume?
Fatima is 4 years old and has lead poisoning. She's among more than 1,000 children from Bagega
Can it be louder?
who regularly come to this rural clinic for treatment. Her mother, Karima, has lost 2 children already.
Fatima has seizures and is running a fever. Every time it gets worse. Memories of my 2 dead children come back to me, and I'm afraid of losing Fatima as well. All of my 5 children have similar symptoms.
Bagega and the surrounding villages sit on huge gold reserves. In the rush to extract the metal, unskilled miners came home wearing clothing contaminated with lead, which polluted entire households. It took government authorities 3 years to act. A U.S. company cleaned up the lead in homes. That eliminated the risk of more contamination and allowed for the treatment of infected children to begin. So far, the aid group Doctors Without Borders, or Médecins Sans Frontières, has successfully treated 1,600 children in 8 villages.
Hundreds of children are not as lucky. The village of Bagega lost about 200. Now life here is getting back to normal after the cleanup. Doctors from Médecins Sans Frontières are now faced with the huge task of treating more than 1,000 cases.
The aid agency helping some of the poisoned children is warning that the problem is bigger than originally thought.
There are more villages in this area affected. And MSF has not the capacities to take care of all villages. There are 30 villages identified in which MSF is not working, which are suffering from lead poisoning.
Treatment for these children is expensive and takes time. Doctors say it could take up to 5 years of visits, medication, and laboratory testing. For Karima and other mothers, the discovery of gold in their communities is a curse. Their only concern now is nursing their children back to health. But with so much activity at the gold mines, there is a good chance that the situation will only get worse. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Bagega.
Do we need to repeat something? Let's repeat it again. Let's repeat it again. So let me explain to you what's happening here. Can you believe it? A community found and discovered gold. Now, part of extracting gold is it lead or lead? Lead. Is lead. Okay. Now, lead could be poisonous. It's always poisonous. Okay. What do you say, Paul? Yeah, so it's always poisonous. So, but the workers, when they were extracting the lead, they don't even know it's poisonous. They're just looking at gold, illiteracy, and lack of order because they don't have license to mine the gold. Or even if they have the license, they are unskilled laborers. Lack of order. So they are the husbands of all these children, of all these wives, and the fathers of all this. They go to work and come back to their families all over the area. And all of them are having 3, 4, 5 children, bringing back the poison of lead. And the children are playing with their fathers and things like that. That's how over thousands of children, and people are dying. Over, is it 100 or so? Huh? 200 children have died. The whole country is not even aware that things like that is going on. It has to take Swiss or foreign European people to notice that people are dying in Nigeria. Nigerians are not even aware. Order. Because no registration, no information, no. They are just saying people are dying. So those people are coming to say, why are children always dying here? And they are the one fixing it as if there is no government in the whole country whatsoever. Now let's look at the film again. And you think it's a Nigerian TV something
Fatima
that is covering
is
it?
4 years old.
No way.
And has lead poisoning. She's among more than 1,000 children from Bagega who regularly come to this rural clinic for treatment. Her mother, Karima, has lost 2 children already.
Fatima has seizures and is running a fever. Every time it gets worse. Memories of my 2 dead children come back to me, and I'm afraid of losing Fatima as well. All of my 5 children have similar symptoms.
Bagega and the surrounding villages sit on huge gold reserves. In the rush to extract the metal, unskilled miners came home wearing clothing contaminated with lead, which polluted entire households. It took government authorities 3 years to act. A US company cleaned up the lead in homes. That eliminated the risk of more contamination and allowed for the treatment of infected children to begin. So far, the aid group Doctors Without Borders, or Médecins Sans Frontières, has successfully treated 1,600 children in 8 villages.
Hundreds of children are not as lucky. The village of Bagega lost about 200. Now life here is getting back to normal after the cleanup. Doctors from Médecins Sans Frontières are now faced with the huge task of treating more than 1,000 cases.
The aid agency helping some of the poisoned children is warning that the problem is bigger than originally thought.
There are more villages in this area affected, and MSF has not the capacities to take care of all villages. There are 30 villages identified in which MSF is not working, which are suffering from lead poisoning.
Treatment for these children is expensive and takes time. Doctors say it could take up to 5 years of visits, medication, and laboratory testing. For Karima and other mothers, the discovery of gold in their communities is a curse. Their only concern now is nursing their children back to health. But with so much activity at the gold mines, there is a good chance that the situation will only get worse. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Bagega.
So you think the problem is poverty? You want to say something?
Well, this is...
Put on the light. This is just a typical example of disorder.
This is a typical example of what you said, that blessing becomes a curse when there is no order.
Yeah.
Because these people, they are on gold mines. They are on what is most treasured.
Sitting on gold.
Sitting on gold. But because of lack of order,
The gold has become a curse.
has become a curse.
Lack of order alone.
People are dying.
Only lack of order.
So this is just
Blessings become
curses.
curses because of lack of order.
Typical example.
2 children, that little girl. The woman herself is a little girl. Lost 2 children. The third one was about to die.
But even though it seems like it shows that they've been mining, but looking at the village,
The poverty there.
what is the
benefit of the mine?
benefit of mining that?
Because they are paying them chicken change or
Yes.
just
It doesn't look even like it's even contributing to
to
the
anything there. Because there is no order that the percentage of the whatever they are making from there must go to develop the area. No order. And they are illegal miners. And what are they using the money for? Please, take the mic. Oh, the brother wants to say. The young man.
It's like what you were saying a few minutes ago before we started watching this video. You said that people have sickness because there's no law, there's no order, and
That's it. Every sickness is lack of order. And this is a proof of it. The whole, in fact, not 8 villages are sick just because of one lack of order, one action, one deed of lack of order. But it's a painful thing. Children are suffering. Innocent children. I mean, they are not just suffering, getting sick, dying. I mean, being lost, going to heaven, all this together. 200. I mean, by the time, what were they doing when 3 died? 4. Eh? You tell me. Where were they? They will be thinking it's witches and wizards. Just lack of order. No. It's there, yeah. Just lack of order. So, okay, here we are.
Lack of law and order leads to slavery.
Lack of law and order leads to slavery as well. When there is no order, there is captivity. Captivity replaces lack of order. When there is no law and order, bondage is inevitable. Okay.
Lack of law and order leads to death.
Okay. Before we go on this one, let's see the other film. Lack of law and order leads to slavery. Yes. Lack of
The
law and
broadcast
order.
of a CNN.
Lack of law and order leads to slavery. Let's look at this one.
The broadcast of a CNN report on migrant slave market in Libya has sparked global discourse on the state of illegal migrants trapped in Libya in their quest to make it to Europe. Humans sold for as low as $400. The pathetic story of Victor, a young Nigerian from Edo State, is a proof of the authenticity of the allegations.
I was sold. What happened? On my way coming, I was sold. Merciless beating. If you look at most of the people here, if you check their body, you see the mark, they're beating. With electric, even your boot or they took something like a sharp object. Understand? Most of them lost their life there. I was there, the person who came to buy me, give the man money. They take me out home. So the money was not even much.
It is a long way home for Victor, and so is it for many more West Africans who, like him, are trapped in hell. Nigerians reportedly constitute a large number of the slaves being sold in Libya. The world is enraged, rising up against humans in cages sold as pieces of merchandise. Meanwhile, Libyan authorities reportedly say they are ignorant of the situation. Ordinary Libyans have, however, responded with pictures. They are posting selfies on internet portraying happy relationships with other Africans. A clear contradiction of the testament of those directly involved.
They'll be beating you when you are working the work. I'm doing your work. They will be maltreating.
Anyway, so you all know about the Libya situation. Everybody knows about the Libya slavery, right? That's a symbol of lack of order. Why should you be allowed to leave the border of your country? Who are the border people that allow you to even go out without a destination? What border? Because before you leave, even if you are leaving your own country, you need passport to leave. And then you need ticket to show you where you are going to. Order. And these people too, they want to go to Europe. How can you go to Europe? Who tells you that you can go to Europe without visa? Italy. What country? Where is your visa? Where is your passport? So how do you expect to enter into another country without visa? Even Libya, you need visa, and you are there, and no visa, no passport. A bunch of lack of order everywhere. Pain is a result of lack of order. Remember that. Whenever there is pain, order has been disrupted somewhere. Okay, here we go.
Law and order leads to death. Law and order exists for the purpose of establishing justice.
Law and order is to maintain justice, to maintain security, peace, rest. Okay?
And when they fail in this purpose, they become the dangerously structured dams that block the flow of social progress. Martin Luther King Jr.
Start from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's a full.
All right. So law and order exist for the purpose of establishing justice. And when they fail in this purpose, they become the dangerously structured dams that block the flow of social progress.
That is when law and order fail to bring justice, everything begins to fall apart. Leads to pain and destruction. Okay?
Lack of law and order leads to self-destruction.
Okay?
Lack of law and order leads to loss of freedom.
Okay?
Genesis 2:16 and 17. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die.
You see that even in the Garden of Eden, there was law and order. But this law and order, it was not a written law like the Ten Commandments, but it was in them, in their consciousness. Like now, the one law, love, obedience. It's never in our heart. But it was not a written law. So, but let's go back to, lack of law and order leads to loss of freedom. Lack of law and order leads to self-destruction. I want us to see this film, the first one there. See what pain, we are talking about the pains of lack of law and order. Go ahead, please. Look at what is happening. Pregnant woman dies as doctor refuses to attend to her because she had no money in Cameroon. That's a pregnant woman here. Pregnant. Her stomach is, somebody was trying to operate her.
A young lady, Marie Kumate, made headline when she tried saving the twins inside her dead and pregnant aunt in Cameroon on Saturday, March 12, 2016. According to multiple reports, after the death of 31-year-old pregnant Kumate Monique at the gate of La Quantini Hospital, Douala, Cameroon, Marie had taken it upon herself to save her aunt's unborn twins. According to viral online reports, Monique had been denied medical attention as a result of the lack of money and died at the gate of the hospital in Douala. On seeing this, Marie, who had accompanied her aunt to the hospital, bought a blade at a nearby pharmacy and sliced the womb of the deceased open. One of the twins came out dead, while the other, which was still breathing, gave up the ghost minutes after. It has been reported that many people have been dying in Cameroon in recent weeks due to their inabilities to meet up the financial demands of government-owned hospitals in the country.
Yes. Those are the pains. We are talking about the pains of lack of order. Hello, stop. What do you think is the reason for the death of that woman and the two children? Come on. What do you think is the reason for the death of the woman and her two children? You think it's poverty or lack of money? Put on the light.
Obviously, it was a lack of order, because in any country where the government is functioning correctly, they should do what we talked about yesterday. They should give everybody their dues. That means that they know everybody in the country. Everybody has the right opportunities so that they can have their livelihood. They make their money. They pay taxes to the government. The government, in turn, furnishes everything for the citizens. There are hospitals that are affordable for the citizens. There's roads the citizens can drive on without being hit, without dying. And that is how a proper government works. But there's no order there at all. We're not even talking about how the hospital personnel are like corrupt or something. This is a government-owned hospital, and yet if you don't pay enough, they just won't attend to you. That's not how it should be, because government, if that country's government was caring for the people the way it should, if it had the right laws, and if it went through the painstaking process even of making sure they knew every person, making sure every person had the right opportunities in order to even pay for those hospital fees. Like, even if they're going to make hospitals paid like that, they, my guess is that they aren't even looking at the situations of each of the citizens like a government should actually be doing, since they're supposed to be the ones governing over them. And so that it will be possible for them to pay those fees. Instead, they're just saying, oh, if they can't pay for it, then just reject them. And that's not orderly at all, because the hospital is supposed to treat everyone. And it's a government-owned hospital. That doesn't mean it's for government people. It means that it's for everybody in the country. So obviously there's a lack of order in that hospital. It wasn't thought through at all, or the government's or the citizens' relationships with the law enforcers, and the law isn't thought out at all.
So it's not lack of money. That's the
No.
problem. Lack of order.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's see another example here. This one is in Ghana. Another catastrophe here. Ghana. It was on there. It was on. It was almost to play only.
This may look like a prison, but in fact, it's a hospital. A place people go to get better. It's one of 3 psychiatric hospitals in all of Ghana. Access to film here has been denied by the health
in
ministry.
the country. Only 3 psychiatric hospitals in the whole of Ghana. In the whole country. 3 psychiatric hospitals in the whole country. A country of over 20 million people, 27 million people or so. Huh? Okay, yeah. Do we not say sure? But and then they have psychiatric specialists, only 12 in those 3 hospitals. 12 psychiatric doctors for the whole nation of Ghana. 12 psychiatric doctors working in those 3 hospitals. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Christian group who are visiting is the only way to get in with our camera.
You see, it's prayer.
In June, a law was
Africa,
passed in
it is
Ghana
prayer.
to give patients a right to choose to be here or not. These are the ones left behind.
And I've just spoken to one of the inmates who tells me that he used to be on drugs. His family were unhappy about that. He was brought here 3 weeks ago, and since then they've abandoned him, and he is hungry.
We are ushered towards the VIP ward, where we are told conditions are better. But on the
VIP.
way, we pass through Ward E and are horrified by what we see next.
This is the word, hospital.
It's a place
Hospital.
where human dignity does not exist. Off camera,
And people are praying.
a man gets hair on his groin shaved, while 2
Prayer.
others naked,
Praise and
lean
worship.
against the wall, looking for shade.
Where human beings
I
are
asked the medical
dying like
director
this.
why conditions are so poor.
Well, the hospital is seriously, or the hospitals are seriously challenged financially, logistically, human resource and whatnot. If anybody wants to be fair, what we are seeing is probably the best that you can get under the circumstance. We have over-centralized care. Mental health care has not been on the top priority of the ministry, which is part of the problem all along.
Doris Apia is one of the few who has managed her illness. thanks to a supportive family, she now leads an ordinary life after 10 years in and out of psychiatric care.
Once they are in institutions and people they are not accepted in society, then people will continue, the stigma will continue to grow. You need a family to accept the person. You need a family to show them love.
For a country still lacking resources to manage the millions who live with mental disorders, Doris's story needs to resonate. She's cast away the stigma and is managing her own mental health. Akwesi Sapong, BBC News, Accra.
Tell me, let's see the reason the government official or whatever employee gave. No resources, no money, no resources. Who wants to dispel that argument? Is that the reason? Is that the truth? Just look at patients on the floor. Not even in room, in the street. Anybody wants to talk on that? That it is actually order that was the problem, but not what the man is saying, resources? So you guys agree with him, right? That I can't see anybody coming forward.
I mean, I just want to comment.
You need to come forward then. Put on the light, please.
I mean, I think others should speak too, but like, I think that the closest reason that he gave was that it wasn't on the government's priority list or something. Because if you look at a mental hospital like that, you'll think definitely it's not the government that has set up a hospital like this. Probably it's just like a village. There's mentally ill people. They don't know what to do with them. They put them in this place. Because that would be the best explanation for that treatment, why people are lying around like dogs or like corpses or something. Well, maybe they were just abandoned by their family. But this is like a government building. This is like, yeah, a public mental hospital. This is like the best of the best, what we just saw. And the reason for that isn't because they don't have money. It's just that nobody is taking responsibility for that. Nobody, what the woman described at the end, that people that are mentally ill, they need time, they need acceptance, they need to do stuff like, for example, in the United States, if you like look at, you know, even like children's books, you will see that there's lots of characters, like there'll be one white character, then there'll be an Asian character, then there'll be a black character, then there'll be a character in like a wheelchair or something. They'll try to propagate the propaganda, which is positive propaganda of acceptance. And that is like maybe part of the reason that we can say that the mental health, taking care of the mental health in the United States is better than in Ghana here, because it is on the government's priority list apparently, and there's order to it. There's mental hospitals, but also it's not that they just shove it aside. It's not that they put a stigma on them. They tried, like, even in school. I go to an American school and we're taught about mental illnesses. We're taught even depression is a mental illness. The mental illnesses, they shouldn't just be feared. You shouldn't treat people with schizophrenia like they're monsters. It's just like this, but it's caused by things that can be explained by science, stuff like that. Here, what do? They just throw people somewhere because they don't want to do anything, because there's no order. So this isn't because of lack of money. Even if you gave them money, they would, like that person said, it's not at their priority list. They don't have any order to solving the problem, or at least they're ignorant of what to do to solve the problem completely. So there's no order, and there's barely any order possible. So the problem isn't money or anything, it's order.
So the topic is the pain of lack of order, the pain of disorder.
Absolutely, I quite agree with Paul.
The cost of order is nothing compared to the price and the cost of disorder.
Absolutely. Like I was trying to say in the afternoon, that healthcare itself, and this like a net issue, has nothing, providing healthcare for people has nothing to do with resources. It has little or nothing to do with resources, absolutely. Everything is dependent on order. Mental disorders are very, very manageable cases. As a matter of fact, not many people know that there are more people in Europe that are depressed
than Africa.
Than there are in Africa. So there is absolutely no ground for such a situation where a whole country has just 3 centers and just about 12
Specialist.
doctors, just to have specialists for mental health disorder. So it's a case of disorder, absolutely. When we have little and we know what to do with that little, we can manage effectively that little. It will be as if it's so much. So it's absolutely a case of lack of order in this situation.
So why did you say that you don't need too much resources to manage healthcare?
Like for the countries that provide top-notch healthcare in the world today, there are even some poor countries among them. Like the other night, we cited the example of Cuba. We cited the example of India with universal health coverage of over 90%. Right now, Canada spends 1/3 of what the United States spends on healthcare. Guyana, countries like in the Caribbean islands spend, maybe the last statistics I had was about less than 1/10 of what the United States spends on healthcare, and yet they provide better healthcare than the United States itself. So it's more of healthcare, it's more of management of resources, it's more of vision. Like
what about prevention?
Prevention, everything is based on the prevention, on the preventive healthcare.
Prevention is hinged on order, actually.
Yes. So many of these things can be prevented. So many of these things can be, okay, this is actually what causes healthcare emergencies. Healthcare emergency results when we didn't anticipate it. Many of what is going to happen in the next 5 years, in the next 7 years, some countries are already, they've envisaged it, and they are prepared the ground for it. They know the number of citizens they are going to have in 10 years. They know the number of facilities that will be needed. They know how many ambulances we are going to. They know.
You mean just like the heart attacks in the 50s and 60s, 70s, people used to die about it. Most 80% of the heart attack deaths were unsuspected. Then after the research has been done, people know that, after 50, people have the probability of having heart attack. It was reduced from 80% death to like in America and some places, less than 20% death.
Absolutely.
Because people begin to
lifestyle modification. And Switzerland used to have a serious problem with drug and addiction, but because of management, the government decided to confront this head on. And today is preventive medicine, absolutely. So health crisis occurs when we do not
look ahead,
when we are not planning ahead, when we do not see. And then eventually when it happens, everybody.
And plan is order. Order is planning. Planning is order. So and order is prevention.
Absolutely. So the truth of the matter is that the countries with very little resources can do more than even those countries that have more resources.
Only if we have order in place.
Or if we have order in place. Because the countries with more resources, they are always trying to, healthcare for them has become business, like a place like the United States. So you have a lot of healthcare in the United States is based on machine, it's based on invention, technology. So every year new technology.
But this one, it could be regarded as what? Indifference, neglect?
Lack of order, lack of planning.
Inner light, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Doctor has actually said it all. I think the pain of putting institutions in order, such as giving awareness, education, and enlightenment in the area of preventing those cases. I think that's what the government is shying away from, really. And also,
but what about mobilizing volunteers?
That is
and community service.
Exactly, I'm still going there because in the UK, there's a program, a national program now that actually is targeting mental health, really.
Okay.
And it starts from the grassroots, whereby people there's promotion of healthcare, educations, and smoking cessations, all those things. They actually they'll go to primary school, secondary school.
So now let's now go back to the place we started this thing from. I used to come on YouTube and say, even I alone know how to can fix Nigeria problem. It's not because, it's just because I needed to say that to just raise awareness that, hey, things are not so hopeless. if we know the keys and we know what to do. So, like what you people are contributing now is showing me that you people can even do better.
Absolutely.
If you have the opportunity,
Absolutely.
just because of the understanding you have.
Absolutely.
Not the money.
It's not, yeah. If the money is available, why not?
It's not available. That's what the man is saying. Money is not available.
Yeah, money is not available, but they could actually pinch this problem from actually before it becomes. Because what he's saying, the money is available, is not available to treat what
already
we are seeing, the damage that this has caused. But if it is nipped earlier on, this problem, then maybe they would have tackled it. But they shine away from the pain of investing in that area.
The pain of order.
The pain of order, which what we are seeing is an excruciating pain.
The pain of disorder is an excruciating.
That is right, sir. So, and I mean, there are organizations whereby people, I mean, government even give individuals, opportunities to create NGO whereby they have people can walk into their clinic, they help people in the community. So all those things, if the awareness is
there are people in Ghana who might be willing to even donate something, some resources. Right. But nobody is even caring to organize an awareness campaign to go and call people to come and donate or help or volunteer.
It's the education. It's if the awareness is there, if the education is there, if there's provision for all these things, there's no need for Africa to be witnessing this kind of pain, really. And yeah, and also, I mean, in terms of, creating services like therapy, psychotherapy, just like consultations. These things are there, and they are at affordable prices. I mean, a cost really, if the intervention is offered on time.
I just want to comment on this issue of the psychiatric hospital that I've seen here. First of all, I think just as we have started from the beginning, here we don't need money. Before we talk about money, I think we should just go back to the planning. Because first of all, the setup of this hospital, it's not in the format of a yes, it's not even a hospital. You can't put the way they put the wire and people are locked maybe inside. It's not a hospital. It's just like a dumping site for all the mentally sick people. Because if you put the people in such an environment, that is not a hospital according to the way I've seen it. Because in the health, even according to the World Health Organization, they have structures that if it's a maternity ward, should be built like this, in this format, facing this side. If it's a theater, should be built in this. But what I've seen, I think maybe it was the old warehouse. Maybe they used to keep cement or something. According to the way I've seen the structure, not even a jail. Because even jails have format, how a jail should look like. Here, I think they have to go back before they talk about money, because I think money is not an issue. Because if you look, we have seen the office of the minister, how it's shining. And how many tables are in his office, and he's only alone. But he's in such a very furnished, nice, beautiful office, but they don't have money.
Wow.
It's a planning that they need before they think about money.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Wow, wow, wow. Good observations, good observation.
No, so I just wanted to make...
I didn't notice the office of that man, though.
Oh, no office, yeah. So I wanted to make a
It's like you are getting out of the jet lag, oh. At least your face is showing something like that.
I had to, you know...
manage it.
Yeah.
Order.
Yeah.
I see.
But it's unfortunate because when I go back to the U.S.
You get, it's another disbalance.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to comment because in that clip that we just saw, okay.
So in that clip that we just saw, and this is why I'm very pleased that you're tackling the heads of the church, because in that clip that we just saw, you just saw a row of men or women, I just mostly saw men, just singing in front of, I don't even know what to call it. It's not a psychiatric center at all. I don't know what else to call it. But instead of them using the strength and the intelligence that
Even
God
their
gave
hand,
them,
even their hands.
Yeah.
They don't even need intelligence, even hands. Use your hand to go and clean the people and
you-
carry that person.
And you know, these same people singing in front of this center.
And they are clean.
They're going to go back home feeling pleased that they did something. They're going to feel fulfilled that they did something. And that's why I just very much appreciate that you're attacking, and you're just like tackling this question of what are the church leaders doing? What are they preaching to their congregation?
Because these ones that go there to sing, they think they have done God's service.
Exactly. They're going to go back home pleased.
Because they have prayed that day.
They've
Nobody
sang,
got healed.
They prayed.
But it's not prayer that is needed. Touch of love. Wash, clean, bring clothes, put it on their neck.
That's why when you mentioned volunteering, I was like, that's what they could have been doing instead of wasting hours
Praying and singing.
praying, while people are behind bars suffering from mental illness. It's
Lying down on the floor. No bed. And you are praying.
Anyway, I just very much appreciate that you're tackling this topic of the church leaders, the church structure.
Psychopathic.
Yeah, basically.
Brainwashing.
Brainwashing. It's like they're just brain dead. Brain dead.
Thank you.
They've mentioned a couple of the things I wanted to say. I'm not a health expert, but it's so glaring that what the problem we are having is because Africans we've lost the value of human dignity, and that's
no
justice.
love, no understanding
no
of
value.
love.
We don't have value for human life, because if you look at the video, the number one problem there was not even their mental health. The problem there was pure
Condition.
hunger. The guy was dying of starvation on the floor. So the first thing we should be thinking of how to feed them food. The first thing. Then the second thing is
Paul, if you are busy translating, when will you listen and participate? Go and take your seat. Let her learn English.
Then the second thing is accommodation. Like my sister here mentioned, the first thing I noticed in that video was the office of the
minister.
Is it the
Or
minister
head
or the
of-
head of the...
the head of the
yeah.
department.
He had the size of the office alone could accommodate up to 10 of those patients. Why not like kind of like maybe demarcate the office with partition the office?
No, even the money that he has spent to put all those things.
Yeah, and put up some like double-decker beds or triple-decker beds and put them in. Just the value of life, the first thing. And secondly, they could call for people in that community who want to donate clothes, who want to donate food. If the government is not like financing that particular hospital, call out to the community. If you have clothes, if you have food, we need it. We need those resources. And what I just couldn't understand was the church members coming into the place to pray. You don't need prayers for things like that. Like I was going through my Facebook page a while back, and there was this lady back in Nigeria who wanted to go for surgery and said she was looking for, I think the total amount was about 2 million naira, and I could see everybody was just commenting on the page. We are praying for you. God will heal you. About 30 comments, no positive response. And I was so angry. I said, look, all you people praying, have you lost your brain? What she needs now is not prayer. What she needs now is money. It's money that she needs. So if you have the money, find out how to send the money to her and for proper treatment. What's amen for, oh, God will heal you? People will comment, amen. So I think that's the issue. The problem in Africa is it's so bad. It's so bad. I think it's back to what you've been teaching, law and order, but as a result of lack of proper thinking, we don't think. Because like the people coming to pray and singing and clapping hands, if they had brains, and if
they have not been taught well.
They have not been taught well. Religion has completely damaged them. Religion has damaged them. If they had brains and they could think, at least they should realize that the first thing they needed to do was to get that
food.
man out of that place where he was lying down, clean him up. Because sometimes hunger can even result to mental problem. And it could even add to the situation that they are in. So it's really bad that we're not using our brains to think.
Because the pastors and the churches have taught them that only prayer, that's all.
And some of them that came to pray, I bet you, the next Sunday they are going to pay their tithe.
They will take it to church.
Yeah, the money is with them, but they are saying, no, this one is not for this. It's not for this mental guy. My tithe, I can't touch my tithe. I have to take my tithe to church. It's just, and I'm so happy because on Facebook today I was seeing a couple of images where somebody was saying that he has decided to use his tithe to take care of people on the street.
Beautiful.
So he goes out and meet people I think it was even a mental case. He saw a guy, took the guy out, bathed the guy, clothed the guy, and bought food for the guy, and said that's his own tithe. So I think by the time the awareness, it's we need to create this awareness, and a lot of people start doing that, things will start improving. But I think the one thing we really need to attack and address.
Okay, somebody is writing here in the comment that the reason is not just because they didn't know those people have to be taken care of physically, but that doesn't even occur to them because in Africa, mental health and mental sickness is regarded as witchcraft. So as far as they are concerned, it's not the problem is not health, it's not clothes, and it's not food. The problem is witchcraft. So that's why they are coming to pray.
To cast out the witch or the demon.
It is deliverance.
In a mental institute.
They brought it, but they are afraid of going to put because the mental people, they think they are always violent. They are not seeing them as patients.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
They are seeing them as demon possessed. So they have now come to bring deliverance.
It's so sad.
To cast out the demons. This is another doctor here.
Okay. Good evening, Pastor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to talk from the medical perspective. I could remember when we're doing psycho and psychiatry. One thing about when you want to take anamnesis of a psychiatric patient, you have to let them to accept you. That is the first thing. Now, this woman said something in the last section of the video we just watched. She said social acceptance. Now, she might have said that thing out of emotion, but one thing I think is very important for every citizen is that we need to get education on how we should accept these people and understand these people very well. Because the thing is that people don't even know. Pearl said something the other time that even as young as they are, they already know that there are people like this in the society. So everybody having this knowledge that we could...
Anybody could get sick.
Everybody, yes, exactly. We having the preparation that we could have sins like this, we could have cases like this. It's even enough. It's enough healing. And now, talking about the money, I think the money is not actually the problem, and the problem is the fact that even if you call the best specialist to come and attend to this particular issue, when you give this guy the money, the guy will be, it will just look as if the guy has not done anything, because number one, the guy's knowledge about this case is even about the money. And one thing is this: if the guy has the knowledge about how those people work, what is wrong with them, now, even you telling them to use their drug alone, for someone, we talk about healing. Yeah, everybody's looking towards the healing process, how they could come out of this situation. But do we know that even if we get the most expensive drug for these people, and they don't even have the knowledge about what is wrong with them before they add the crisis, they might even reject the drug. So at the end of the day, we'll still be going back to the problem. So I think the first thing, based on this series, based on law and order, the first thing is the education. Everybody must be educated, not just
Enlightened.
enlightened about this case. Not just the doctors alone, not just the people in the health sector alone, but every citizen must know that we can definitely have cases like this. And I like the analysis or someone gave the other time that we have more mental ill patients in Europe and in developed countries than in Africa. But one thing I've discovered is that we don't see them on the street.
In Europe, eh?
In Europe, we don't see them on the street. Now the question,
because of order.
Because
do you know that there is more money in Nigeria, 3 times more money in our GDP than here in Ukraine? But here in Ukraine, you don't see mad people in the street because of order. They have less money.
yes,
Eh.
they are not locked inside. Because the first thing I said was when we take as medical students, when we take and they are not in cage, they are not even in prison. That was why even the description is of this hospital is actually like a storehouse. It doesn't even look like a psychiatric home at all.
Okay, how does the psychiatric hospital look?
It's just normal when you visit them, just the way they admit people with any disease. You just go into the room, they are there, they talk, they are human beings. You know, you smile at them. That's even the.
They have beds?
Yes, they have beds. They don't just destroy their bed or maybe tear. No, they are, even to an extent, you can relate with them because they talk when they know they are aware of their environment. But it's just that the problem is just the problem is wrong, which is different from every normal the other human being. Let's say the doctor and the patient.
So just it's just a sickness.
Yeah, it's just a sickness.
You even find them like they like in the morning to take them
to work.
Yes.
In Ukraine, yeah.
In Ukraine.
But they will never jump on you.
Like our doctors will always say, okay, when they smile, if you want to ask them any question, when they smile back. You know, because if you don't do that, even if you spend 30 minutes with them, you'll just be there staring at them like this. But you just have to let them feel like they are also like you. So it's just simple.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, doctor. He said almost everything that I wanted to say, but with doctor's perspective, very in detail. But when we found out that the reason for the behavior of the people, of the not mentally ill people of Ghana in relation to the mentally ill people was because they thought that the psychologically sick were witches and wizards or stuff like that. That just like broke me inside because I remember that
Wishes and wizards. Eh?
Yeah, I remember that Dr. Sunday Adelaja said that when we were showing videos of Lagos, and this was like the first day we came. When we were showing videos of Lagos, like somebody like Livio, I think he said, "Is there even government there?" And I was like thinking, wow. How could you show anybody something like so horrible that they would even say that? I mean, of course there's government, there's so many elections and so much drama over that, and of course. But then now I'm looking at this and I'm just thinking, what, is there a government? Is there a Ministry of Education? Are people required to go to school? Because if they were, why did the majority of the people then think that mental illnesses are results of demon possession? We are not in the dark ages. We already have the knowledge of what causes mental illnesses and what they are. It's not like this is exclusive information that's like top secret. No, this is what middle schoolers are taught. And these are grown men outside there clapping and singing to
Clapping and hoping that God will come. They are actually clapping. They are actually clapping and praying, hoping that God has to come from heaven to do miracle and heal them.
Yeah, everything is wrong. First of
So
all,
you are surprised that they are grown-up people could behave like that?
Yeah.
But when I tell them that and say that you wake up, they said I'm the one who is sick. That grown-up people are thinking, clapping, and looking at somebody die and they are clapping. And they are wondering why God is not answering prayer.
It's like what you learn about in history class, like that the church kept the Bible in Latin so that the commoners couldn't understand what they were saying, so they got to say everything. But when we're talking here, it's like none of the people in Africa, no offense, but it's like none of them read the Bible because When I was naked, you didn't clothe me. When I was hungry, you didn't feed me. Here are some hungry, naked people, and you're clapping. In the name of God. That makes no sense.
And in the name of God, they are
In the name of God. Like, what? Like, it feels like
it's just like saying you have an accident, a car crash, people die on the floor, and you are praying and clapping. No first aid, nothing.
While the incident you just painted now, somebody has an accident and is dying there in the pool of blood. They'll just come and they'll be using their phones to snap the picture and posting it on Facebook. That's just to tell you that
Selfie.
Human dignity is gone, completely gone.
It is selfie time.
Those who are not those who are Christians will be praying, while those who are not Christians will be
taking photograph.
taking photograph, putting it Instagram, putting it in Twitter, and all.
They want some likes.
It's just sad.
You see, that's why when I'm telling you that we all can fix that country, it's not just about me. When we have the right information, when we're informed and enlightened, when that big light is in the mind, we can do something. And I would like us all to begin to put our strategies together. That's why I must go back to Nigeria.